Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is Friday. Here we go. So, inventory management. I'm going to power through the rest of this sheet. If you've been watching the last 2 days, it's been pretty awesome. Uh, I did a lot of work. All you can see my thought process and how I built all the columns and all the summaries. We got a couple more things to finish up today, but this is looking really good. I did a couple formatting things off stream. I'll talk about that in a second. But welcome. Uh, let's send out the Twitter link here. Sound Twitter check. Link. Okay, looks good. Sending this out. And don't forget, check out more templates and spreadsheets. I've been building them live at smarthelping.com. You can buy all kinds of different things for businesses and forecasting. A lot of different spreadsheets for a lot of different things. You can buy everything on smarthelping.com for $9.99. What we're doing here with the inventory management, I will be adding it to the accounting bundle. I will be adding it to the inventory bundle at no extra increase in the bulk price. The individually, it'll just be a $45 template. I'll also be adding it to the small business playbook bundle, which basically has all the different trackers I've built for small businesses, as well as some financial models here. Alrighty, so having said all that, let's jump in here. So I want to go real crisp today, just get through this, get it done. The formatting updates I did, I put some instructions here, so everything in blue text is editable. That's the first thing. And so the blue text, these columns are editable. The formulas are labeled as formula columns, and those are black text, so not editable. And I added some more extra fields here, so you've now got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 extra fields of data, which could be relevant, especially when I start talking about how you might want to track expiration by stock um, bundles. You might want to put some kind of tracking information in these extra fields, and I'll show you how that'll work with the filter. If you are tracking when things expire relative to the current date. So that's going to be something. Low stock is fine. I do need to add these formula columns in here. And then, note just to go over, we've got a summary that based on all the data in the database, it'll show you the count of units that have been total added, depleted, and available. This is the current stock balance by SKU, and you can select different SKUs to see the differences. And it'll show you by location, and it'll also show the inventory value, and you can define what dates are used for the cost basis. And the weighted average cost of goods sold we'll show in there. I've also got the inventory view all tab we did. So remember this one, we can now see by SKU and by location how many units are there in each location per SKU, the total units of each SKU, and the total value of inventory of each SKU, and the total value of inventory at each location across all the SKUs at that location. So we've got some product formulas in there. And then you can basically, and this is the total count of all inventory units. This total count column's not really relevant for all. It's relevant for each individual SKU, but I put them both in there. And then this total inventory value is relevant, 15,000, saying that's the value of all your inventory as of the current date, based on all the data in the inventory or database tab. We've got total sales. If you do have remember we made a third option that you can mark something as sold, and anything that's marked as sold, the count of units will show by SKU in here per location as well. And this is summing up. Let's see, yeah, if C is the SKU, if the location matches, and it's marked as sold. Now, let's talk about so we automated some formulas that show the unit count per location, the unit count in total. So if you put a SKU in here, it'll location, that data will automatically update based on all other existing data in the database. You've got safety stock in here. We're going to do this formula here in a second, where you can see basically the minimum stock, and this is across all locations, and then this will show you what you are defining as, um, or this is the cushion you have until you hit the safety stock based on the available units, safety stock units. So we've got this nice sheet here. I'm really happy with it. This is very useful. This is probably going to be my top inventory sheet over the long run, I imagine. So it's very clear. I like the formatting we got in here. It's easy to use, easy to enter data. Oh, and before we get started, the final thing, remember, I was going to add starting balance logic, but it turned out, I thought about this like all day yesterday, and it turns out, in my opinion, the best and the really only way to do it, I think, is most efficient is putting in, you just take whatever the starting balance is of each SKU at each location and just put an add entry. So you can put in whatever date. You can put in basically the current date you're going to start if you're rolling this over every year, or if you're just using it for the first time and you need to enter starting balances. Simply, go to the drop downs tab, put in a unique list of your SKUs, unique list of all your locations, and then you just come over here and just mark like a start date, give them all the same date, enter the locations, the SKUs, and how much in add, and just put the units that are at each location for each SKU, and that'll basically be your starting balance, and that will work with all the existing formulas. And then from there forward, all the new entries will then go on top of that, so you can get an accurate balance of inventory. So that's the way you can use it, like as an evergreen, so it'll continue to roll forward forever in time. I think that's the best way to move forward with that. Okay, let's see here. How are we looking? Oh, we are looking not like yesterday. So yesterday, I don't know what it was, what happened, but there was like we had 160 viewers over the stream of an hour and a half, and I usually have never had over 40. So it was a big stream. Looks like no one's come back, so that's okay. No worries. I'm gonna keep doing this every day around 10 o'clock in the mornings on Eastern time, and this sheet is gonna be really valuable for a lot of people over time. So let's just finish it up, and we'll see what happens here. So the next calculation is on this low stock here. So let's first just arbitrarily make some things low. So if we put the minimum level, let's just call this safety stock. Let's say it is really high, relatively speaking. Let's say it's 10,000 for all these. So what that means is, now look at saying you've got no cushion. Your total unit count here is 8,700, but your safety stock is 10,000. So you're below. So what this happens is this will trigger the low stock. See, all these will start happening, start populating automatically, different SKUs, and then we can simply do a lookup. So I can do array formula, VLOOKUP A3 to A, and I want to look up the total balance of each of those. So I just go to the drop downs where it's automatically calculated. Go ABC, 3, false, and that's going to give me the balance per SKU. It should. What happened to the array formula? Oh, whoops. A3. I need to do a colon there. So there's that. We could say if A3 to A equals blank, then blank. So this is all inventory or all the units of a given SKU across every location. And then, and that's calculating here. This is actually summing up against the SKU for each location, all the add transactions minus all the deplete transactions for each SKU. So we can pull that. We can pull the safety stock. It's going to be the similar formula, but we just target the second column instead of the third. So let's go A, B, 2. And now we've got the safety stock. And then the shortage is just array formula B3 to B minus C3 to C. So it'll only show up here if there is a shortage, so there's no real need to do conditional formatting. This tab just shows the user what SKUs are below safety stock based on current inventory data in the database tab. So that's just kind of a reporting helper. You can know, okay, I got these SKUs, here's my shortages, and the amounts. Now, if we were to say, change the safety stock to these to like 5,000, or no, let's say, 200, but we'll leave ABC at 10,000. You can see now that auto updates. Now it's just this one's the only one that's under. So this is cool. Low stock. This is actually, let's put this more towards the end. Drop down I'm going to put at the beginning. I'm going to call this list. And we'll just do that blue because it's mostly data entry. Let's see. On this tab, enter a unique list of all SKUs in column A, all locations in column D, and safety stock of each SKU in column B. Column B directly relates to column A. So this is how you very first start using the sheet. Is you got to enter in your own data for what's going to populate the drop downs. And then you can start, you'll clear out everything in blue text. Let's put that in the instructions. Clear out data in blue text. This is just my dummy data. And just highlight it and go to, let's see, I think it's, how do we delete values? I know they changed where this was. You don't want to delete row. You don't want to do any of that. I thought it was edit, delete values. So go to edit, delete values on all that exists. So I'd go here, list, highlight this, edit, delete values. So that's what you want to do before you enter your data. And with the database, you can go all the blue text, highlight it all, edit, delete values. Now I have the values in here just so you can see an example of the data working, and so I can make sure it's working right myself when I'm working with this. Okay. And then that'll be all automated, automated, automated. So here, go to edit to the top and hit, what was it? Edit, delete, and choose values. Okay. So that's pretty, that'll get anyone started on this pretty easily. Yep, clear out the data. Got these here. Okay. So this is all looking good. What now? What I want to do now is the expiration. So it's possible if you're buying, let's say you're buying batches of inventory and it does have an expiration. So you want to know what if you're close to the expiration or not. You're also going to want to know essentially all of this relative data. You probably don't need to know. You want to know the location, the SKU. You don't need this. You we could just add that, I guess. Just keep it in there. You want the units, cost. You probably don't need to know any of this. Days until expired is yes. I'm just seeing what we want to actually come through and all the rest of this. Yeah, I guess it's all fairly relevant. A couple of these columns aren't, but it's not worth it to do extra formulas. So here's what we're going to do on this one. It'll be similar to the low stock, but it's going to be called um, expiry planner. Or no, let's just call it expirations. So here we want to say, oh, I'm not even going to say it because I don't know exactly what's going to be on here yet. We don't need this. All I want to do is show essentially, we'll allow the user to say expires in X days. Okay. And the user can say, well, I want to see anything that's going to expire within the next 10 days. And it's likely they're going to have a whole bunch of data in here. You can't really use the selectors here to manually pick if you've got like 1,000 rows of data. You're not going to go through and manually find everything that's below 10 days. That's going to be hard. So we have this nice filter formula here. And we can say, okay, show me. And let's edit blue text. Show me any item, any purchase that's going to expire within 10 days. Now, what you're not going to know is, let's say you buy here and you sell some of that batch in the future, you sell some, sell some, sell some. You're not going to know if you sold what's been sold of that. So that's where I'm saying these extra fields could be used to help you identify batches of what it sold from, and then that will come through on your filtering, and you could see kind of what's going on. Now the days till, and what you have to do is put the expiration date on here with, so you want the same expiration date on items that were depleted if you're going to track this. Now this is just for, not everybody's probably going to have to be tracking expiration, but for those that are, if you're not, just leave the column blank and it won't matter. It won't really affect anything. But if you are tracking it, you need to put the date of expiration when you add it, and then when you deplete units from that SKU, you need to put essentially what batch they were from and the expiration date of that. And then this days till expiry will automatically pop up, and you'll be able to see on this expiration, okay, I bought this many, they expire here, I've sold X, Y, and Z of it. Now, if it's fully expired, it'll be negative, but you'll be able to see, okay, I've already sold all that batch off, so it's fine. Now, I'm trying to think of a way to automatically not show things that are fully sold. I don't know if there is a way to do that. It could just show only items greater than 0. So, but then if it gets past expiration, it would not show up at all, and that's assuming that you never let anything expire. Which now that solves the issue of um, not showing too many things on the expirations tab, because we don't want to see things that expired like a year ago or 6 months ago that's been already, yes, it's expired, but it was already depleted. So, well, I guess in that case, you could just remove the expiration date. and then it just nothing will populate here. So you can just remove the date, and then that will kind of clear it off. I think that's the way. I think that is the way. If you know something's been fully sold off, you just remove the expiration date, and you can mark somewhere a log of what you're doing. But as far as automating this and not making it too disruptive, I think that's the only way to do it. So I'll make a note here. Blue text is only editable. Also, if you know a batch is fully depleted and doesn't need to show here, simply go and clear out the expiration date for those rows on the database tab, and they won't show up here. Because I think it's definitely possible and probably likely you're going to have data coming into here that is, some things might definitely be expired, but you want to be able to see that. So we'll drag this all the way over here. So here's all our fields. And then I want to simply go filter. Now watch how easy this is. I filter the database. Give me, oh, if Google Sheets would work here. Come on. Equals filter. I want to filter this all the way over to column U and down forever. If, and here's my reference, if the expiration days is less than or equal to 10 in this case. So there's no items in here. Now let's just force an item in there, and we can do that by saying, well, we bought these on July 1st. Well, wait, expiration dates. This is running off a today function. So it's the July 8th. Let's say it expires on the 13th. So now it says within 5 days. So that's kind of a cool automated thing. Let's say also this is going to expire in 8 days. So now if I go to my expirations, both of these pop in. Let's format these things. So date of expiry. We've got the location, the SKU, the units expiring. Let's see, I want to justify all these center. And let's just make these big enough to see all the descriptions. These can actually, there we go. All right. So we can see essentially all the details, and what you might have over here is fields that identify the batches of different things. And so if you sell some of ABC, you can say, okay, this was from batch purchase 2, so batch purchase 2 and 2, and all those line up, and you can do some other things based on that. But it's possible. I've laid out the structure so that you have a way to figure this out. But the key is you can see, okay, these purchases are potentially expiring. I haven't cleared out the date, so they are live. They have an expiry date, and here's the amounts. Here's when they were purchased or when they entered inventory, and you can just analyze that. Or you could change this to say um, within 50 days or 100, and then if these are not within that time, they'll not show up. So let's say this expires, let's say next year. Now only the one shows. All right, so I think that's cool. That there's a lot of use cases there, I think, to make it valuable enough to put in here. It doesn't really disrupt anything else. The sheet's very clean and it runs really good. Not too heavy, and it can really be almost infinitely expandable as far as it basically up to the amount Google Sheets can handle. which is great. Um, so that's good. And I mean, I think we're close to being done here. Yep. Only two viewers today. Well, I must have hit the YouTube algorithm yesterday somehow, and it spiked. I don't know how that happened exactly, but uh, anyway, no worries. Okay, so yeah, I mean we're pretty good here. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be added. Let's see, inventory per location. This is essentially done. Um, so when I finish it, or when I actually have it live, if you do purchase it, you'll get access to the Google Sheet link, which will be a different link than this one, obviously. And when you get it, you simply go to File and hit Make a Copy, and then you'll have your own editable version. And let me put that in the instructions as well. That's actually the very first thing you have to do is hit File and Make a Copy. So you have your own editable version of this spreadsheet. All right. Well, I hope everyone had a happy Friday. I'm going to just do the overview video for this and post it and get it live on the site. I'll have to do a write-up on it, and I'm really I think it covers enough. It's general enough that essentially anybody that has inventory can use this to track where their inventory is, how much they have. We've got the cool expiration logic. We've got reports by SKU per location. We've got inventory value. We've also got inventory per total per SKU per location, and the total inventory value at each location and total inventory value in aggregate. Um, it's really complete. It's really complete. I'm happy with all this. This tab just tracks the total items marked as sold in the database. If you want to see units across sold lifetime. Yeah, I think this is ready to go. I don't know of any other relevant functionality that really needs to be built here. That's not, you know, too specific. And again, I will do custom work on this. If you want, you can always check out smarthelping.com. You can hire me here. I offer basically a 2-hour walkthrough if you want that for any template that's been purchased, or what you can email me and we can work out a time depending on what you want done, and I can do custom work. And anything over 5 hours is 10% discount. You can also send in financial modeling requests here. No worries. Um, and I guess that's it. Remember, you can check out the financial models tab. You can buy everything on the site for $9.99 or buy by category. I've got a lot of cool categories here. Real estate, startup financial models, joint venture waterfall distributions, based on like preferred equity, preferred return, and some of the things. Accounting tools, which is where this inventory template is going to go to. HR tools, personal finance tools. The sales pipeline. This is awesome. These lead tracking templates are great for any business that's got customers that kind of move through a pipeline and you want to see the value and count and just make reports on that. There's a couple different nice templates to do it, and then general valuation. Alrighty, well, that's all I got for you guys. This thing's completed. Like I said, I'll post the overview video. I can't really think of anything else that this needs to be able to do what it needs to do or what it's doing. Now, if you wanted to like automate let's say you wanted to automate the price per SKU and then drive the cost off of that, if they never barely ever change, you could go to this list tab and define for each SKU what's the price per unit. And then when you enter it in the database, you could do an array lookup on the price and just do an array VLOOKUP. So it'll automatically calculate that, and then the cost can automatically multiply that by the units. But it's very likely that these purchases are probably going to be easier to enter by just entering total cost, total units, and then the price per unit auto calcs. But either way, it's not too hard. It takes a minute just to do that adjustment if you want to do it that way instead. And I don't really know of any other, you might have other fields here that you want to automate per SKU, and that's fine. You could just, again, do more array VLOOKUPs, which in the array VLOOKUP is, the format is in column K. You can see how that works, and it's referencing the list tab. So if you want to add more stuff like every SKU, I want to see, extra field 1, let's put in some other attribute about that, or etc. And let me just move this out of the way or move it over here. So you've got room to do that. But yeah, you can put in anything here and then just look up the SKU and return data to the extra fields tab if you want to do that, and then report on that however you want. So there's a lot of flexibility here. It's only going to be a $45 one-time fee to buy this template. I'll have it live by the end of today. I'm going to try to do it before noon here, the next hour and a half, and get it up to the website. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a great week. We've streamed every day. We've got this week. So what we did this week was obviously the inventory management tool. I also built last week we did the net worth tracker. What did I update this week? Let me see here. I did, I know it's here. E-commerce. That's right. So I updated the e-commerce model, which is it's an industry specific one. We did this on Monday and Tuesday of this week, where I added the three-statement modeling. Now remember, on next week, it's the last week where I'm doing upgrades of three-statement modeling, and I'm excited to be done with that. So at that point, I'll have done almost probably 95% of all startup models now have integrated three-statement modeling. I've been working on that every week. You've seen me if you've been watching since January, so it's been about 6.5 months. And so after I finish that, I'm going to then be doing brand new financial models for all kinds of different industries. So it's going to be more content that's been like the inventory management stuff, which I'm really excited about. It's just more fun. It's something different every week, or I might be working on the same thing for a couple weeks, but it's brand new content. It's not just three-statement modeling. It's thinking about assumptions and just doing different kinds of templates as well, like this. So yeah, I can't wait to start pumping out new stuff. It's been 6 months, and remember, I was pretty sick from last October to January, so that kind of stalled me out. The last real new model I did was the franchisor licensing, which was done last, I believe, December. And that actually is what kicked things off, because on that one I decided to do income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement. And then after I did it, I was like, I probably should upgrade all of the templates to have that. And so then we went into a big thing about doing that for 7 months. So that'll be done next week, and we'll get going on new stuff after that. So yeah, this is fun. We'll keep it on.